Hey, what up? It's aka Mr. B, bringing you the final video in our series, Writing Lyrics with Codewalkers. So far, we've covered structure, rhyme skills, and techniques, and that gives you everything you need to be able to come up with your own narrative lyrics. So let's focus on today what we mean by narratives, okay? Today's all about telling a story, and before you can do that, you've got to be able to answer 3 questions before you start. So have a look at the screen. You got to think about your characters. Who are they? You got to think about what's going to happen to them and think, why should your audience even care? Sounds harsh, but what is it about your characters that the audience want to know about them, you know? So we're going to be using today our example from one of our Codewalkers tracks. It's called Father's Day. We'll put a link in the video at the bottom of the video so you can actually listen to the whole track. But we're going to play bits of it and talk through how we got there. This story is a story of 3 parts. So if you have a look at the slide again, the 3 stanzas are going to be the 3 ideas. And before we even think about words, we're just using images. So the image we got a boy not looking particularly happy. We got this door, this battered door, and then we just got this image of just a guy that's down. So if you have a look at the writing there, we've come up with an idea for the story, which is in 3 parts. So at the beginning, we're going to show the lives of these boys. In the middle, they're going to be running an errand to try and save their dad. And at the end, we got a father who's going to be verbally cruel. So that's our structure. That's our idea for Father's Day. All right. So at this point, whatever your idea is, it doesn't have to be, dark and serious like we were doing. Whatever your idea is now, put it down and get some ideas down. Just, a rough structure, beginning, middle, and end. Who are your characters? What's going to happen to them? How does it end? All right. So at this point, we're going to play you a little bit of the track, the first stanza, and then we'll talk through it. All right. Here we go.
Wake up to the sound of your old man screaming, calling you worthless, pointless, saying he's regretting that he ever met your mother. You stretch a hand out to your little brother. You tell the little guy, everything will be okay, we'll get away from this, you promise, one day. He's still too young to understand why his pops would rather spend time in a betting shop. When 10 roll around, you both go looky. Dad'll be drunk in the gutter or the bookie, spending all the money he don't even have possession. A loan shark Tony is in session. Hey little guy, your daddy's in a pinch. You wanna help him out? It's a cinch. The old guy's lying on the floor bleeding out, and you both wonder what this is about. Your daddy owes me big, but I'm all about compassion. Do this little favor, now let your old man go. But cross me, little man, you learn about my passion and leave his body in the snow. You're still a kid, and life is never kind. You nod your head, but you already made your mind. Here's a worthless bully, a punk and a drunk, but he's still the only father that you'll find.
All right, so with that first stanza, I love that track, man. So talking really quickly through it, it's a strange length stanza. It's only got 12 bars instead of the 16. Each bar is a couplet, so it's basically put two lines together to make a bar. It's mostly regular rhyming couplets, with the exceptions of lines 1, 9, and 12. And you can see that we've kind of rhymed compassion in line 9 with passion in 10. At the start, we got the character of the father, and he's point blank verbally abusive. Wake up to the sound of your old man screaming, it's calling you worthless and pointless, saying he's regretting that he ever met your mother. I mean, that's rough stuff to say to a kid, but unfortunately, that's real life. There are some kids out there, more than there should be, who have that exact experience. We see the relationship between the main character, the speaker, and his little brother. So that's stretch your hand out to your little brother. Tell the little guy, everything will be okay. We'll get away from this. You promise, one day. So that's, you got the contrast there between the verbally abusive relationship between the father and son. And then you've got that more nurturing, loving relationship between the older brother and his little brother. He's protecting him. He's making him promise, we'll get away from this. And then you got that sort of observation about the little kid. He's still too young to understand why his pops would rather spend time in a betting shop. So then that's giving you an insight into the father, what he does with his time, and how the kid reacts to it. So you get an idea of what life is like for them. They're looking for their dad at 10 p.m. They're going to find him at the bookies, and we introduce this new character here where it says Loan Shark, Tony's in session. And, character Tony's supposed to be sinister. So you get that whole conversation or that speech from Tony, saying, look, your dad owes me money. And then that little bit of sarcasm there, compassion, do this little favor and I'll let your old man go. And despite the way these kids have been treated, the two boys are going to they're going to look out for their old man. They're going to do what what needs to be done. And the last line, it's a harsh one, but it's a realization of who the father is. He's a worthless bully, he's a punk and a drunk, but he's still the only father that you find. And that's, not to get in too deep, but it's a realization. Some of us are lucky to have awesome dads and, they give us a reason to love them. But in truth, even if your dad's a punk, even if he's a drunk, you're still going to love him. You're still going to want to respect him. It's just one of those things. All right. Moving on to the second stanza now. All right, so have a listen to this.
You and little bro take a trip to the office. Tony's got a package to deliver. Tuck the little bag in your left coat pocket. Take a walk with your bro along the river. Knock 3 times, that's what Tony said. So you're knocking on a derelict door. Thin draws face looking at you at the gap. You may be young, but you know she's high on crack. What you looking for? She's all jittery and skittery, scratching at imaginary bugs. Tony sent us. You say trying to be brave, but your jaw drops when you see these thugs. 2 big guys, arms like trunks, soulless eyes, staring you, daring you to try something stupid, but you've learned. Live another day so you can earn. Tony said, kids, crazy motherfucker, the itchy lady addict says with a sigh. The big guy pushes her aside like she's nothing, and she lies there like she's waiting to die. You're up 2 flights till you're on the 2nd floor. 10 more steps till you're at the 2nd door. 3 quick knocks and you're wishing you were gone to a place where you weren't his son. A fat guy sitting at the desk, big rings, big chin, big belly, big tings. He's rich, more money on his finger, and you know he's living off the street life horror show. Come here, little man. The fat boy sings, I hear Tony gave you something sweet. 2 hoods laughing while you're pulling out the goods, and you throw it on the desk nice and neat.
All right. So in this second stanza, you got that quick shift. At the end of the first one, they decide they're going to do what they need to do to save their dad. Second stanza, this is the mission. They're delivering the package to save their dad. We got that knock 3 times. It gives you the image of some sort of secret knock. We got that derelict door, alliteration. It draws attention to this signifier that there's a rough place. This kid's got no business being there. The kid's streetwise. He's damaged. He knows the signs of addiction. So when it says there, thin drawn face, looking at you through the gap, you may be young, but she's high on crack. He knows the signs of addiction. Unfortunately, a lot of kids do. And then you got these 2 bouncers, a little bit of bad language there and all the rest of it. But, the whole vibe of this part of the stanza is that this kid's used to being in dangerous situations and is used to being around dangerous people. So when he says, soulless eyes staring you, daring to try something stupid, but you've learned, live another day so you can earn. So this kid knows, you don't mess around with these guys. And the way the men treat the addict, they push her aside and she just lies there like she's waiting to die. So again, that's just another, it's meant to signify how the life of an addict, it means nothing to their pushers. And this kid, he's used to seeing this. He doesn't even, he sees it and he moves on. So we move on, up 2 flights and you're on the 2nd floor, 10 more steps till you're at the 2nd door. You got that rhythm and repetition of second. And then we get introduced to this new character, no names, just how big he is. So fat guy sitting at the desk, big ring, big chin, big belly, big tings, So you got the bouncers laughing at the kids, got all that stuff. And yeah, so that brings us to the second stanza. So we've had that first stanza. We introduced the character. We introduced the conflicts. We give you a reason to care about this. These kids, they represent real kids. This is, unfortunately, this is life. There are kids out there that are exactly like them, and we do care about them. When there's someone like this, you want something good for them. You want them to be all right. That's not how life works. So, he does the job. 2 hoods laughing while you're pulling out the goods and you throw it on the desk nice and neat. So the kid's done his job. Problem solved. Hopefully. So let's move on to the third stanza now. All right, have a listen to this.
Watch it. Don't even think of disrespecting me. People looking funny at me end up in the sea. You're a kid, but I got a reputation to review. Chris, beat this little punk till he's blue. Little bro steps to defend and gets a kick to the face. Roid Monkey 2 picks you by the neck and proceeds to beat you till you drift into space. The cold wakes you up, they threw you outside. Another pickup for the rubbish man. Little bro's crying and then he smiles. He's glad you're alive, you're not dying yet. Head back to the booker, 5 a.m. and the streets full of hookers. Get to the place, know your face is the sight. Daddy looks at you, don't tell me you lost the fight. Yeah, you lost the fight, didn't you? Oh, well done. Thought you were gonna save me? Thought you were gonna save your old man? Now look at you. Looks like you got your face tap danced on. Yeah, not so special now. You're a mess. You're a mess like your mother. Yeah, where's she? Didn't love you enough to hang around, did she? Nah, she's gone. And the only thing you got in this life is me. So you and your little brother best be grateful for what you got. Whatever.
All right, loving that beat and loving that music from the boys there. Yeah, a little bit of funky guitar from Dav. All right, so with this, you got the attitude right from the start, and it's wrong. Speaker's done nothing except deliver what was supposed to be delivered, and this guy is taking it as disrespect that the kid threw it on the desk. He's taking that as disrespect that the kid's thrown in the package instead of what? What did he expect to hand it? And kind of this mirrors real life. A lot of so-called tough guys are thin-skinned. You notice, like the toughest guys, are chill. They know how hard they are. They don't need to. You only see them act when they need to act. But you got a lot of people with they got to beat their chest. They got to try and prove how hard they are. Highly sensitive, and they always try and prove how hard they are by hurting people who are weaker than them. Imagine talking about being disrespected by a teenager. So anyway, Speaker gets beaten up, thrown outside. His injuries are bad enough for his little brother to start worrying that he might be dead. Time's passing. They return to pick up their dad. And, there's no thank you. Right at the end, it just goes to that, dad looks at you. Don't tell me you lost the fight. And that's the attitude. There's a lot of guys who can't cope with their sons getting, stronger, bigger, whatever it is than they are. And they got to keep putting them down. It's like, no, I'm the alpha. You're nothing. Can't even say thank you for saving him because in the story, it could have gone a different way. Tony, these boys could have just said, "Nah, we're fine. We'll leave him with you, Tony." And the old man could have been, well, anyway. So when you look at this last bit, especially after you lost don't tell me you lost the fight. You lost the fight, didn't you? This is all free verse. There's no rhyme anymore. It just goes into like this conversation, the drunken ramblings of an abusive man just having a go at his kid. All insecurities just being, brought out now, making fun of it. Look at you. You look like your face got tap danced on. You're not special. Brings up his mother. Again, really harsh comment. Didn't love you enough to hang around, did she? You don't tell a kid that no one loves him. That's just wrong. But that's what people do. And again, you can see the way his mind's working. Like, no one loves you. Your mum's gone. All you got is me. I know I'm not much, but you better be grateful for what you can get. And that's the attitude. That's a classic, sort of abuser's attitude. That I'm the best thing you've got. I'm not much, but you're worthless. I'm the best thing for you. Anyway, so that brings us to the end of our final video. Writing narrative lyrics with Codewalkers. We've taken you through the skills you need. We've given you this example now. Sorry, it's such a dark example, man, but you got to write about what you're passionate about. So write about what you know, what you've heard, the kind of situations people are into. And once you've done that, come up with your lyrics, write them up, send them to us, and we'll sort them out on the live stream next time. So yeah, that brings us to the end of Writing Lyrics with Codewalkers. Thank you very much for being with us on this journey. Loved having you. Loved all the stuff we've heard. Please join us for the last live stream, and then hopefully we're going to keep going with some new ideas as we go forward. Okay, aka Mr. B. Peace.
Roid Monkey 2 picks you by the neck and proceeds to beat you till you drift into space. The cold wakes you up, they threw you outside. Another pickup for the rubbish man. Little Bo's crying and then he smiles. He's glad you're alive, you're not dying yet. Head back to the booker, 5 a.m. and the streets full of hookers. Get to the place, know your fate's the sight. Daddy looks at you, don't tell me you lost the fight. Yeah, you lost the fight, didn't you? Oh, well done. Thought you were gonna save me? Thought you were gonna save your old man? Now look at you. Looks like you got your face tap danced on. Yeah, not so special now. You're a mess. You're a mess like your mother. Yeah, where's she? Didn't love you enough to hang around, did she? Ah, she's gone.